There are a total of 79 biomes as of Minecraft 1.20. Some are amazing, some are awful, and some are incredibly boring, like the forest, arguably Minecraft's most boring and basic biome. Which is why I am going to be completely transforming Minecraft's forest biome by adding custom trees and decoration in order to make a good biome. So I'm going to start how I normally do by chopping down some trees. And whilst I do that, there are 5 phases I need to complete, with phase 1 being to remove these trees. With all of these trees now removed, it's time to move on to... And phase 2 involves completely terraforming this area and the river down here, similar to this other custom biome I built 8 months ago. But first, this land needs flattening. Obviously, there's still some work that needs to be done, but I'm a big fan of what it now looks like. Especially the fact that there's a hill here, as I think it would be really cool to try and incorporate this into a custom forest. However, for now, I'm going to be moving on to terraform the river. So first of all, I'm going to need some mud blocks, some muddy mangrove blocks, and some coarse dirt, as these are the 3 materials I use to terraform rivers. All you need to do is sort of just build an outline, just randomly place them in. So coarse dirt, muddy mangrove, mud, all around. Something a bit like that. One of the cool things about muddy mangrove as well is they are rotational, so you can have 2 different textures. Adding coarse dirt, obviously. And we just continue it down this way. Once the outline has been done, we just need to break the rest of the grass around here to fill it in with all of those blocks. I've encountered a massive problem, and it's not the fact that you aren't subscribed. Don't worry, I'll forgive you as long as you press subscribe right now. As if you do, I'll add another custom tree into this world. But my problem is the fact that I'm pretty much out of mud. Well, I have 17, but I can't imagine that's going to be all I need. So it's time to head over to my favourite Minecraft biome, the mangrove swamp. I've mentioned it a few times, but I really don't like the mangrove swamps. They're just laggy and they're full of leaves, so it's really hard to travel around, and mangrove wood is so annoying to gather. But on the bright side, it has a ton of mud and water. But a ton of mud and more water. Yeah, that should hopefully be enough mud for now. To be fair, I probably didn't need to fill up an entire shulker box full of mud, as we barely got any left to place. But I guess it will be useful in the future. Maybe. I don't build with mud too often though. To continue the terraforming, I need to grab some more materials. Mainly mangrove leaves, oak leaves, peonies, sugarcane, poppies, seeds, and some moss carpet. As I've done along the rest of the river, I now need to continue with the sugarcane, the flowers, and the leaves. With it done around the river, I now need to add some leaves just in random piles around, as this really helps just to make the area look more overgrown. Now I want to plant some wheat, and add in some patches of poppies. One pro tip for decorating with flowers in Minecraft is to add patches rather than to place them randomly, as it just ends up looking much nicer and more natural. Another thing I want to add involves some frog lights, as I definitely need to add in some hidden lighting. You know what, I'd also want to add some carrots and some sweet berries, just to help add in some further texturing. And using a mod called Mini HUD, I can see exactly where I need to add in some lighting. One other decoration I want to add in without forgetting is some loads of short grass. Yeah, this river area is starting to look really good, although I am waiting for this wheat to grow up, so it does look a little bit better. And I think this is going to look really good for our future custom biome. As remember, there are 3 more phases we have to complete. But first I want to fix something in this world which has been annoying me for months. My world is full of custom fields. However, there is 2 missing spots right here, as I have saved this for a very special type of flower, which I should now hopefully and finally be able to place down. That's right, it's the sniffer plants, the torch seed and the pitcher pod. Although I don't have very many torch flowers. 36 will have to do for now though. And this is actually going to be my first time obtaining these flowers in survival Minecraft. Yeah, they've almost been out for a year now. Hey, I'm just a bit lazy, alright? All I need to do is add some ice blocks around, as this will hydrate the crops. as they are technically a crop even though they're a flower. Next, all I need to do is create some farmland. I think for this smaller field I'll add in the torch flowers. Oh, there's an advancement for that. Although I'm definitely not going to have enough seeds for now, but these crops honestly do look really cool. And I'll also add in all the pitcher plants, which honestly look a bit like little burgers in the ground. And a fun fact about pitcher plants, they are the only flower in the game that can help you craft cyan dye. But honestly, we definitely need more ways, as getting cyan dye is so annoying. To be honest, quickly, I do want to grow up a torch flower and pick it up for the first time. So we've now got our first torch flower, which, you know what, I'm going to keep on me. And we can do the same with one of these pitcher pods. We'll go for this one right here. Fully grow it up. There we go, and there we go. But I'm going to take both of these flowers with me, as they are the first in this world. As one thing I like to do in this world is to collect certain items which are the first in this world. So we've got the first torch flower and the first pitcher plant. And I think they can go right here in the castle, above the first pitcher pod and the first torch flower seed. The next bit of detail I want to add is from the muddy riverbed here to these grass blocks, as this just doesn't look very good. But to first do that, I want to mix in some moss up here just to add more variation to the grass blocks. Now that that's been done, I want to start over here by adding the coarse dirt and mud, but using less mud and muddy mangrove roots this time, as I want to transition it into more dirt and moss. Now that I'm transitioning into more of this coarse dirt, I also want to mix in some rooted dirt as well to help add even more texture. This is starting to look really good, however, it still does look a little bit plain, which is why I have some flowers and some short grass. Yeah, this is starting to look really good, but remember, we've still got loads of custom trees to build, which I am definitely looking forward to building. Definitely. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, as I do crazy projects like this in my hardcore world all of the time. There is still more of phase 2 which needs to be completed. And for that I'm going to need a little bit of dripstone and a little bit of granite. And probably some rooted dirt. As this area is starting to look really cool, however the stone under the dirt blocks here just looks awful. So I want to use these 3 blocks to replace it. That honestly looks so much nicer. It would also look nicer if I replace the bottom of some of these moss blocks with moss rather than dirt. And then just replace others with grass blocks. Hold on a second, if you want to support me and my channel, consider hitting the join button below to become a channel member. If you do this, you can be a part of my Minecraft hardcore world by being named after any mob inside of my world. Plus, you'll be able to ask me any questions and get access to these cool emotes and badges. It is not a requirement at all, it is just there for people who want to help support me even further. I think with the riverbed now completely transformed and the area looking much nicer, it's time to move on to... And phase 3 will involve planning out where every single custom tree will go. But what types of custom trees am I going to add? Well, we're now in my creative test world to find out. But first of all, these are some features of a forest which I'd like to add later on, including some like rooted dirt and dirt areas, some more mossy and flowery areas, and some more podzol-y, sort of mushroomy overgrown areas. Maybe I won't add all 3, but I think I'll add a couple of them as they do look pretty cool. Anyway, these are the 4 trees I plan to build. I want to build my traditional oak ones with oak fences and oak leaves, birch ones with birch fences and birch leaves, cherry trees with birch fences and cherry leaves, and massive azalea sort of trees with andesite walls and azalea leaves. Now the custom cherry trees won't be everywhere, however I'll add them occasionally or maybe in little patches. And luckily, I have loads of materials for the oak trees. In my tree building shulker box, yeah, I have one of those. I do have a load of birch fences and andesite walls, which is good. And in my leaves shulker box, I have a load of oak leaves. How many birch leaves? A couple of stacks, that won't do. Azalea leaves, I've got a stack of. I've only got 42 cherry leaves. I'm going to need to gather a ton of leaves. Speaking of leaves, make sure to leave a like on this video. Okay, yeah, that was awful. At least I have a ton of logs to make more fences. Anyway, to start off with, I'm going to need a bunch of birch leaves. So I'm going to head over to a birch forest. So off I went, destroying another forest. But don't worry, I will be rebuilding a custom forest later on. I mean, that is the reason why I'm gathering these leaves. Hopefully all I'll need is an entire shulker box of birch leaves. To be honest, I'll probably regret not getting more. But obviously now, I need to get a bunch of azalea and cherry leaves. So let's move on to azalea straight away. And unfortunately, azalea forests do not exist. So I'm just going to have to bone meal a bunch of saplings instead. That's already a lot of leaves to mine. Annoyingly, we do get a bunch of flowering ones, which I don't plan on adding to my custom trees. And from a stack of azalea saplings, I got 10 stacks of azalea leaves. Yeah, I reckon this will take a while. And as I can't be bothered to chop all of this wood down, instead I'm going to use some TNT. I hope this doesn't end badly. Did it even do much damage? Not really. That means we can do it again. There we go. Yeah, I'll just clean up the rest. I've done a bit more work and managed to get almost a full shulker box full of azalea leaves. And can I be bothered to get any more? No, not for now, as I probably won't even need all of them anyway. However, I am going to need a ton of cherry leaves. So I need to try and find a cherry grove biome. As I'm heading towards the cherry grove, don't forget that I still need to build a ton of custom trees. As well as adding a ton of decoration into what I hope to be my best looking custom biome. As I still have 2 more phases to complete. Wow, this terrain actually looks really cool. Alright, I'll stop getting distracted as I really do need to find this cherry grove. But as I am heading on my way, I have found this really cool lush cave, and I would love to grab a couple of spore blossoms as they'll probably work really well in this custom forest. Oh, I missed. As they'll probably look really cool in this custom forest. Finally, we're at a cherry grove. I hope there will be enough trees here, and it definitely looks like there will be. So I guess it's time to start destroying the environment. But don't forget, I'll actually be helping the environment later by building a ton of custom trees. There we go, that's now an entire shulker box filled with cherry leaves. Now that I have 4 shulker boxes filled with leaves, it's time to plan out where every single tree will go. I've now got an inventory full of oak fences, birch fences and andesite walls, which are going to be the trunks for these trees. So first, for the cherry trees, I want to build a little sort of cluster of them over in this direction, so I want to space them out a few blocks. And my plan for this forest is to space them much closer together as my old custom forest right here. All of the trees are really far apart and it just doesn't feel too much like a forest. I think for a first cluster of cherry trees this works quite well. Maybe add, yeah, just a couple more like down here. Yeah, I think that's good. I think another cluster of cherry trees up here will work quite well. I just want to space them out a little bit. And I'll add one final cluster around here. With 3 clusters of cherry trees now added, that's actually 64 trees already in total. Maybe I'm starting to regret this just a little bit, but hopefully it will still look pretty good as it's time now to add in a ton of oak trees. But there is a reason why I am building an entire custom forest. You see, on June the 2nd, 2022, I created this Harticle world completely unaware of the journey it would take me on. And here I am, 2 years later, still surviving and most importantly, doing the things in Minecraft that I enjoy most, whilst making the best videos that I can. That's another stack of fences just placed down and it's only for this bit here. But to be fair, I do want to mix in some birch trees as well, just to break up the boring green textures. There we go, that's 2 more stacks of fences now placed in. And I haven't even moved on to the andesite walls yet. Down in this little bit of a forest, I actually want to build in less trees, as if this is sort of the end of a forest. Although there's a massive forest here, but maybe I'll transform this into something else in the future. I should also remove these logs from a long time ago, as lightning did strike this area once. There we go, that's now 2 more stacks of fences added again. And yeah, this area is going to be filled with trees. Instead of adding massive groups of andesite walls, I'm going to place them just a bit randomly, and sort of in groups of 1 or 2, just as if they're sort of rarer species of trees, as they are going to be much taller. I think in total 32 andesite trees will do pretty well. But don't forget, I still need to build all of these trees up and add a ton of leaves. But after, we move on to... Instead of building the trees straight away, phase 4 is going to be focusing on the decoration. As I showed off in my test world earlier, I want to add different ground decorations. The first decoration I'm going to add is adding some moss to the ground and bone mealing it, and just making sure to remove any of the azalea bushes. We may add them back later, but for now they're not really needed. Yeah, these sort of clumps of moss really do help to add even more detail around the area. Oh, I missed some azalea bushes. Oh, there's another one there. Next, I want to grab some rooted dirt and some coarse dirt, as I want to add some more sort of dirtier patches of ground. Yeah, I really like the look of this area now. However, there are a few things missing, such as short grass, especially on these sort of dirtier patches, as you can't even bone meal on top of coarse dirt or rooted dirt. Next, I want to add in a few moss carpet, just to break up what the texturing does look like. And I also want to add in some patches of poppies. And as I mentioned earlier when I was doing the river transformation, I want to add patches rather than just placing them randomly. Yeah, right now this area, except from the trees missing, it actually does look pretty cool. But there are still a few decorations I want to add. Starting with custom boulders. I also want to add in some stone buttons to look a bit like little rocks. A couple more decorations I want to add are some pink petals, especially around these sort of cherry grove areas. And also some patches of sweet berries. To mix up what the short grass looks like, I also want to add in a couple of ferns. Also, in a couple of places, I'd like to add in a couple of mangrove roots and scatter around some mangrove leaves as well, as if these are more sort of overgrown areas. A final feature I'd like to add before moving on to phase 5 is to add in some glow lichen. Yeah, I honestly think this area looks really cool now. But it's finally time to move on to... And for phase 5, I'm going to be building up all of these trees. I mean, after I deal with these guys. There we go, much better. And for the trees, I'm actually going to start building the cherry ones first, and then I'll move on to all of the others. But for these trees, all I need to do is go up about 5 to 7 blocks, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do an L shape of leaves, jump down, and just spam leaves a bit randomly. As at the end of the day, it is a random, like, sort of custom tree. We want it to look more natural and not, like, as if it was built, I guess. And just add a couple more leaves like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good for tree number 1. That's now the first patch of cherry trees done, and honestly, it looks really cool. I also love how close all the trees are together. It really makes it difficult to walk around it, which was sort of my intention. And even from over here, it looks really cool. I think it will look even better once there's loads of green trees around it. But that has already used up a ton of cherry leaves. So I really hope I have enough cherry leaves for the next 2 patches. And if you haven't by now, I don't know what you're doing, so make sure to subscribe. Anyway, on to the next patch of cherry trees. That's the second patch of cherry trees, and yeah, this is starting to look really cool. I would move on to the third one, but I think I may have a little bit of a problem. In my inventory right now, this is all the cherry leaves and all the birch fences I have left. So I really hope I don't need to gather anymore or craft anymore. But at least I'm on to the third and final patch now, so it shouldn't be too bad. Right? There we go, with less than a stack of leaves and a stack of fences left, the third patch has been added in. Now this custom forest already looks amazing, but remember we've still got 3 types of trees still to add. With these azalea trees, I'm going to build them about 10 to 12 blocks up, just to add more height into the forest. So it's time to build some more. You know what, for a couple of these azalea trees, it'd be nice to add a bit of moss just to add variation, and we can also hang a couple of spore blossoms, which we collected earlier on. As once a forest is done, it will really help to add more ambience into the area. I've encountered a bit of an issue. I have now built a ton of these azalea trees, however, I only have 38 azalea leaves left, and there are still quite a few trees left to build. I have managed to gather a few more leaves lying around my hardcore world, however, I still don't think that this will be enough. It means it's time to farm even more azalea leaves. But also, this forest actually looks really cool, and it's only got the 2 types of trees in so far. And remember, we've still got 2 more types of trees to build. And to be honest, I think the oak and the birch trees are going to make the biggest difference. But for now, it's time to gather even more azalea leaves. Yeah, I really didn't miss doing this. I've now managed to gather a few more stacks of leaves, and I really hope that this will be enough, but I do have a sneaking feeling that it won't be. Turns out I had enough leaves, as I've now built all 32 of these azalea andesite trees. And honestly, these do look really cool around this forest area. But before I can build the next trees, I'm actually going to be tidying up all of my shulker boxes. And this is definitely not me putting anything off, as honestly there's so many trees to build. Do I have all my shulker boxes? Yeah, looks like I do. I think already this custom forest looks so much better than my original one does. And we're still missing the 2 types of trees which will add the most detail. So the next tree to build are going to be the birch trees, which are going to be very similar to these cherry blossom trees over here, except with birch leaves. Obviously, they're birch trees. A small problem I have now realised is we are now on day 1891, and I want to get this video done by day 1900. Why can't I make this stupid jump? As I've got my next video already planned out, which is going to be me building for the next 100 days so I can reach day 2000 inside of this world. So I really hope I can get this forest done in the next 9 days. Yeah, I'm starting to think that's not possible. To save time, I have decided to start building the trees in the night, but that does mean creepers are starting to spawn, which I do not want to have blow up all of my builds. One problem with this forest I am running into is the fact that it's not spawn-proofed, but honestly I don't mind it too much as it sort of adds to the environment around it, makes it more natural that there's not just hidden lighting everywhere. I like it in certain places, where there's like glow lighting on the rocks, but in like darker places I don't think it looks too bad. And to be fair, if you were going to a real forest in real life, it probably wouldn't have light everywhere. Then again, it wouldn't have skeletons, zombies or creepers running around it either. But the fact that there are so many mobs around, it just makes me want to sleep. So I really don't want any creepers to blow up the trees. And yeah, we'll be getting to day 1900 a little bit quicker, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much. I think the only bad thing about building this custom forest is the fact that I can't see it from my starter base. But as I fly closer, oh wow, actually it looks really cool now. But there are still so many trees left to build. Oh great, it's turned into a thunderstorm. And I really don't want these trees to be struck with lightning, so I have to sleep again. Which means we're now going to end up on day 1894. I've also just realised I've got a stack of birch leaves left, and that can make about one more tree. And as we head over to the forest, how many trees do I have left to build? Well, there's already more than one birch tree that needs to be built. So I think I'm going to have to collect some more birch leaves. Unless I have any in my storage room. I mean, there's 21. Any more? No, that's mangrove roots. There's one extra. Is that it? Yep, I think that's it. Unless, where I destroyed all the forest earlier, I left a massive shulkerbox monster here. Any birch leaves? 8. Oh, and a couple more stacks. So I can make a few more trees, but it still won't be enough. Actually, there's one more hope in my leaf shulkerbox. How many birch leaves? Okay, there was a couple more stacks. Yeah, this still won't do, I don't think. I think we'll need to actually chop down some more birch trees. But that will be done after I place the rest of these birch trees in. Also, half my llamas from the llama area have disappeared, and I think it's because they spat at each other and killed each other. Which definitely wasn't my fault. Even from a distance, this forest looks so cool now. And I can't believe I've still got another entire species of trees to add. Species of trees? Is that the right word? Type of tree. I think that works a little bit better. Alright, I've got 18 leaves left. Can I make one final tree? To be fair, I actually can. However, I am now completely out of birch leaves. And flying up, yeah, there are still quite a few spots I need for birch trees. So it's time to mine even more birch leaves. To be fair, it's starting to look really cool now. Anyway, it's now time to gather some more birch leaves. And I'm doing it at night, so it might be slightly dangerous. Then again, don't know why I'm worrying too much, as I do have full netherite armor. Hopefully I now have enough leaves, which means it's time to continue placing down birch trees. I've run into another problem, and it's not the fact that I'm out of leaves. I've actually got a few stacks left. However, there's still 12 custom trees left to build, and now I'm completely out of fences. So I'm going to head over to my birch forest so I can get some more leaves and some more wood so I can finish the trees. And whilst I do that, make sure to subscribe. And hopefully for the final time, it's time to add some more birch trees into this forest. And there we go, every birch tree in this forest has now been built. So that means we're done with the custom forest, right? We're done with it, right? Right? Yeah, now I've got to build so many oak trees now, and this shulker box full of leaves definitely won't be enough. But this is what the forest looks like now, and if you can remember to what it looked like at the beginning of the video. Yeah, this has definitely changed a lot, and honestly, I'm a massive fan of what it looks like. Yeah, even from a distance, this place looks really cool now. If you're wondering what all of this area will be turned into, make sure to subscribe and check out the next video, as I plan to do some more terraforming around here to plan for future projects. I've now got a ton of oak fences and a ton of oak leaves, as it's finally time to build the final type of custom tree. Every single one of these oak trees. These oak trees are going to be built very similarly to all my other trees, such as the cherry and the birch ones, as they go up 5 to 7 blocks. Then we do a 3 high L shape of leaves, and then just fill the rest in with leaves. Yeah, there we go, that one looks good. I've now added quite a few trees to this area, making it really hard to walk through now. And we're now actually on day 1899. Meaning, if I go to sleep... Oh god, there's a creeper right there. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Break for bed. No, 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 no. Oh, no. But we're now on day 1900. There's another creeper chasing me, though. Despite not reaching my goal of finishing this forest before day 1900, it has motivated me more than ever to get this project finished, so I can move on to other projects when I'll eventually hit 2000 days. The good news is that I'm almost finished with this forest. The bad news is the fact that there's now a thunderstorm, which means I want to leave this area as I really don't want all these trees to be struck with lightning and to burn down. There's also some more good news as Minecraft 1.21, the Tricky Trials update, now has an official release date for Thursday, June the 13th. And one more time, make sure to subscribe as I've got a ton of very cool plans as 1.21 releases. Wow, this forest looks so cool now. But, oh, there's still so many trees down here to build. Are these the only ones though? I think there's a couple more here. And then I think we're finally done. So for one final time, I started to build up even more custom trees. Oh no, my game's just crashed. I guess it's time to see if the hardcore world has been corrupted. I have made a backup though, so hopefully it's alright. Whereabouts are we? I think that's the place I was in. I think. Maybe a couple of trees have been deleted. I want to check around just in case anything else has been. No, everything else looks fine. I think we're safe. So now, for the final time, hopefully, it's time to finish building these custom trees. Remember what I just said about that being the final time I have to place down custom trees? Well, I was wrong, as I'm out of leaves. But hopefully I have some more in my storage room. Oh yeah, I've got loads. And here we are, onto the final custom tree. And to make this one a bit more special, let's build it 9 blocks high, so it's the tallest oak tree around this area. And there we go, I have done it. I have successfully made an entire custom forest in my now almost 2000 day old Minecraft hardcore world. If you enjoyed today's video and you think that this forest looks good, make sure you are subscribed. On the 2nd of June 2022, I created this Minecraft hardcore world. I had about 1000 subscribers at that time, and I never expected to be at this point now, where I'm at 7,500 subscribers. This was a tree I designed 2 years ago, and now I have just finished creating an entire custom forest. Now I'm not saying it's perfect, but it definitely shows the progression I've had throughout these past 2 years. 2 years ago, I couldn't have imagined that I'd still be on this world making content, but here I am. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe, consider becoming a channel member, and thanks for 2 years inside of this Minecraft hardcore world.